Now, I don't think we've done an item that's been so popular for quite some time. Soup. Glorious soup. As well as being one of London's best loved markets, Borough is also one of our most innovative. They're now about to host their annual Young Marketeers winter sale. School children are going to be serving up waste-free soup and bread at the market. I'm joined by David Matchett from Borough Market, who can tell us a bit more about this enterprise. Hello.
Hello. Thanks so much for welcoming me back again. And are you going to get a chance to come down tomorrow to try some of the soup from the Young Marketeers?
I'm going up to Sheffield. I've got such a busy week. I was telling you about Kenya and my wardrobe and everything else. But if I can, I will, because I absolutely love soup. I just think it's one of the healthiest things to eat. But at the same time, I think, are we boiling all the nutrients away, do you think?
No, not whenever we're actually eating them. And as well as that, I mean, come down tomorrow between 12 o'clock and between noon and 2 p.m. is whenever we've got all the young people that are going to be making their soup. You know, I was actually listening before, the number of people that like my favourite soup, which is pumpkin and squashes.
They love pumpkin, yeah.
And even listening, I was hearing some of the, interesting ingredients to actually put in, because cinnamon and pumpkin, I think, and coriander works really well.
And cumin. Di in Covent Garden says she loves cumin in pumpkin soup.
I'm sure we're going to get that, tomorrow, because these kids that come down sometimes have got some really, really interesting ingredients from, different cultures that you wouldn't normally think about. I mean, everyone likes to put in some chili, but, the cumin, I thought that would be really, really interesting.
Nice.
So,
where are these kids coming from then?
Well, most of them are coming from in and around the schools in Southwark, St Paul's Way Trust, UAE, South Bank, Lillian Baylis Technology School and St Gabriel's College. But the actual programme, the School Food Matters programme, actually operates throughout London. I mean, it's phenomenal, the opportunity that whenever we started working together, fitting in very, very well with Borough Market's Food Futures and the whole idea about what the future of food is going to be, that we're able to work with young kids and show them, how to grow the food, then come to the market, and then how to sell the food, and then the next stage along is where we actually get into the cooking of it. So,
and do they cook at the market or in school?
They cook the food. They do the final preparations at the market, but most of it is cooked in advance and brought in just for convenience, because having red hot flames around with young kids.
But the thing is that, I mean, so often on this radio station we hear there's no longer DS or domestic science anymore in schools, and you just think, do they have cookery lessons anymore? Because if they don't, it's such a shame, because the enthusiasm from our listeners of making their own soup, as a child, it's a fairly easy thing for them to do, isn't it?
It's great to get engaged with it. And I mean, I was one of those kids that was always hanging around my grandmother's apron strings, seeing what was going on. And that brings us to, as well as when we first introduced the programme, it was about making soup, and then it became about also making bread. So Bread Ahead at the bakery school, they're actually involved in showing the kids how to make ciabatta. So, the whole range of skills that are going along with it. And the kids love it, because, it's that we love making pictures, we love drawing whenever we're kids, but actually cooking, it's like chemistry, it's like alchemy, it's like magic.
It is like alchemy, it is like magic. Especially going back to this soup thing, it truly is all these lumps in water, and then you mix it, or spin it, whatever you call it, and you make this amazing stuff that everyone feels comforted by. Soup is so comforting, isn't it?
And as well, it's completely comforting, and as well as that, you don't actually think about it actually, but you're using up everything.
Yeah.
You're using all the ingredients. You can take whatever has been left over from what you're cooking and make a stock from it, which then goes into the next meal, along as well.
One of our listeners actually said, if you're going to make chicken soup, which so many people, they're saying it's called the Jewish penicillin or whatever, it's so good for you. Yeah. But one of our listeners said, buy a boiler chicken, which is so much cheaper. They're older chickens, they're not there for roasting, and it'll be cheaper than getting a roasting chicken, and that forms the basic for the stock. Oh,
definitely. I mean, the two ways of doing it would be buying a boiler from the local butcher, or one of the butchers at Borough Market, or actually, you can always, if you're roasting the chicken, the bones and what have you are left over, putting that into a pot along with some onions, some carrots, a bit of celery, a bit of parsley, and making a nice rich stock from that there as well. So there's many, many things that you can do.
So can I just ask, David, is this just for one day only in Borough Market?
Yeah, it's just for one day tomorrow, and all the money that is raised for them will then be going to help the one of our partner charities, Fair Share. So the money that's raised, and I think there's been quite a bit of money raised, £6,000 over the course of the programme, which then goes towards towards feeding families that
You're right,
require a
actually.
little bit more.
I've just got the details here. You're absolutely right. £6,341 has been made by Young Marketeers, and it has provided 25,364 meals for vulnerable families. That's amazing.
I couldn't have put it better myself. And what's more is then the number of students that maybe are the young people that may not necessarily come to the market to take part in what's going on, but they're involved in the growing. So it's a whole collaborative effort, and showing young people about how working together through food is how we bring about change and change in the system. So it's really, really fantastic. I can't wait to get tomorrow, because the last time that we had that we were spoiled for choice with the flavours. But my favourite, I have to admit, was one of the pumpkin soups, and it was the special ingredient that it had was sesame seeds, and it gave that lovely nuttiness through. Totally delicious.
How delicious. Now, I don't even know if you can answer this. One of our listeners says, this sounds wonderful. Can I just ask, how much will it be to have soup in the market? Do you know yet?
This is one of the things our intrepid young marketeers set their own prices, so they would be, I think, from in the past, they've been run about £3. I think
£3 for soup, and you get
£3 for soup and bread. But don't bank me on that, because they might come tomorrow and they might decide that it might be a little bit more, it might be a little bit less. I would say to get down early, because sometimes they can run out. But if they do, you can always come to the Borough Market Kitchen, which just opened before Christmas, and have a bite of lunch with with the older professionals rather than the younger professionals there.
David, it's lovely to see you again. Thank you so much for coming in. That's David Matchett, Head of Food Policy at Borough Market. Thank you.
And thank you.